This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, Siva. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yesterday we discussed multi-stage builds, and then later we installed Kubernetes cluster in Minikube, AWS. It's a single node cluster for practice. And after that, we discussed AML syntax. Now today we will create the cluster again. I have documented here everything. What are the prerequisites you should have, and then kubectl, IAM user, and then Terraform init and apply. Today we will create the cluster again, and we will try to connect to it, and we will spin up few pods and other Kubernetes services. Okay, now it's a start of Kubernetes. And I pushed already this one to our GitLab. You can just clone it and then do Terraform apply. I opened the Slack channel. You can set up this cluster, and then you can let me know if you face any errors. If you are lag in the practice, it's okay. You just set up this cluster, then we can resolve this cluster's errors for you. It's getting created. And make sure you destroy after your practice.
What's the command in Terraform to remove all the infrastructure, whatever it's created by the script?
Terraform,
No, Terraform destroy. That's it. Okay.
yeah. It created the record, but still it is waiting. I don't know why. The record got created, but still Terraform is waiting. Wow. It's okay. It's still it's since it's created, I'm just canceling it. Okay, we got the IP address. Let us connect to it.
Terraform script to interrupt it. What is the key? Control C, is it?
Yeah, Control C. So mostly we will not face this problem, but sometimes If you face this, Route 53 record is not so much important. You can just give Control C. Okay.
Okay. After this kind of description, if you want to rerun the same script of Terraform, shall we rerun it? In case if we do the rerun, whatever infrastructure already created, it will be recreated, or it will ignore that. What will be the flow?
It will not recreate. It will only create whatever is not created.
Okay.
Okay, let us see whether we have Route 53 or not here. Sometimes problem with Terraform is like this. Okay, so what I will do is I will do the Terraform destroy. It created the record, but still it is thinking that the record is not created. Okay, in this case, let us destroy this. Okay, destroyed, and then remove this tf state file as well. It will be created again. And here, just try to delete this manually. Delete record. Terraform init. Terraform apply. It has to create 12 resources actually.
Will there be any difference between the script you are running inside from the VS Code, instead of that, if you run directly from this laptop's command line, will there be any difference in
No difference. No difference. Since my code is here, I'm just running from here.
Okay.
You can run from anywhere. Okay, the same problem. Created the record. Still it is thinking.
I think it's not able to read the values which is created. That's why it's not showing that it's not great.
It's okay. If we are able to connect, then this is fine. Okay, so we are able to connect. So once you are able to connect here, so I will just stop this. I'll let it run. Let us see what happens. So when you connect to the cluster to ls here or cd etc kubernetes. Okay. Something is going on. Wait for few. Let us wait for a few minutes, like 2-3 minutes, and then let us see. It is still installing the Kubernetes in background.
Sure. Can you increase the font size?
Yeah, okay. Okay, now we got the files created. Just go to cd, and here also you have some kube config. Okay, this is the config authentication file to connect to the cluster. So we need to copy this scp-i techie trainers, and then CentOS at the rate this IP address, :/home path /kubeconfig. In your local, there will be a kube directory. Okay, in your home folder. / I'm doing it as config file. Okay. I'll give this command. Connect to server and get the kube config. Okay, this is the command. If you go here and open this, okay, so this is the configuration file to connect to the cluster. Now kubectl get nodes to get the Kubernetes nodes. Okay, we have only one node, master, and then worker. Everything is in single node. If you have multiple nodes, like one master and multiple workers, you will get all the node information here. Okay, so now we are able to connect. We need to push something to this Kubernetes cluster. The first thing to discuss is pods. Okay, I will create a new project, Kubernetes K8 resources. So in that pods, okay, I can rename this as 01 pods. Okay, in pods, first we will create 01 pod.aml. So yesterday we discussed AML syntax, right? Now let us see the pods, Kubernetes pods. Actually, pod is the smallest deployable unit in your Kubernetes cluster. It is exactly same as container, but a simple difference is there. Now let us see this Kubernetes syntax. Extension should be YAML or AML. Anything you give API version V1. So there are multiple API versions usually, like V1 extensions, beta version, all those things, but mostly the resources are in V1. This is the first thing. This is a common for every Kubernetes resources. And then later you give kind. The kind of this resource is pod. Similarly, we have other resources like service, stateful set, deployment, but this kind is pod. And after that, we have metadata. Metadata means you know what is, it will be like key value pairs. What is the name of this pod? And we will give few other information. We'll discuss that later. And after that, the spec. Like how you are going to configure this pod. Spec. Inside pod, we can have multiple containers actually. Okay. So the list should be containers. How the list will start with hyphen. Okay. What is the first container? Give the name of the container as Nginx. And the image you should provide, that can be Nginx. So this is the bare minimum syntax. API version, kind, metadata, spec, all this is common. Okay, I can just write it in comments here. This is the syntax for any resource. Okay, I'm just giving the pod, I'm assigning a name through the metadata and the spec. In the spec, we are listing the containers. Name is Nginx and the image is Nginx. Now let us push this. Okay, let me go to K8 resources. Okay, no. CD01 pods. Okay, we have pod.ml. How you will push this is kubectl apply -f. What is the name of the file? 01 pod.ml. Okay, so this is how you push the configuration to the Kubernetes cluster. Now you check the pods, kubectl get pods. It is getting created. Now it is running. Okay, if you want to log into the pod like you do docker exec, kubectl exec -it pod 01 and then bash. Okay, this is I think our Git bash is not supporting this. Okay, Git bash is not a complete Linux, it's a simple Linux version. So what I do is I will create a repo here like we do, and then I will pull it inside the server. Here we can do this same thing from CMD, I think. Plus check kubectl exec -it for 01 bash. Okay. Okay, Windows is sometimes trouble. Let us push it to the GitLab and then pull it from one K8 client.
I have a small doubt. This particular
Yeah.
Minikube cluster is running in the cloud, right? So
Yeah.
from your local laptop, first you need to connect to that particular AWS server. Then from there you need to log into the cluster.
No need.
What is
No
the
need. I just connected to pull the configuration to connect. You no need to be inside the Kubernetes cluster.
Oh,
Okay. So we have that authentication configuration file. Using that, you can connect from anywhere. You no need to
okay.
be inside the cluster. Usually this cluster will be managed by administrators. They will not give you access to connect to log inside the cluster. They will just give you access to connect to the cluster. Okay, so that's what we do now. For example, I will launch another instance that is like a client, K8 client. Just think this is this Kubernetes project is administrated by another team. You have one server to connect to that. Okay, and then T2 micro is enough. Docker, just allow all. Okay, so this is another server. K8 client. I need to install kubectl in this. Just kubectl is enough. Okay, now let us see how to install kubectl Linux. Just copy this. And then validation is no need. Okay, but anyhow, we got this. Okay, we install. So for that, actually, you need to create one .cube directory to configure it. Just copy this configuration and then create one config file. Okay, now kubectl get nodes. Okay, we are able to connect, right?
So sorry for disturbing, bro.
Yeah, tell me.
Where we will get that config content you pasted from the notepad, right? Where we will get that
First,
config content?
when you install, usually in projects, there will be a Kubernetes administration team. When your team asked for access, then they will create the kube config file and then they will send it to you. Since we are
Okay.
everything here, I logged into the cluster and I copied it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So now as a
Shiva,
team, yeah,
if we are doing these Kubernetes things from the scratch, means so when we install the Kubernetes, can we get that configuration first?
yeah, we got it already. So
Okay.
first we got it right.
Yes.
I logged into the server and then I copied it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now we have it. We are able to connect to the cluster. Now I need to push the up files to the Kubernetes cluster. Now you just think I'm outside of the cluster completely. This is just a client. Okay, so for that I need my GitHub as well. The configuration is this.